San Jose Sharks prospect and Barracuda forward Quentin Musty makes his long-awaited debut on the podcast.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at The Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network, the number one sports podcast network out there, where we cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts. Of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we are joined by Quentin Musty, who I have been waiting to do this one for a while. So we're going to discuss Quentin Musty's path to San Jose, talk about, the year last year with Sudbury, some of the new rule changes and what he thinks of that, get to, know him a little bit off the ice here. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com, and you win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. And now we have San Jose Sharks prospect and San Jose Barracuda forward Quentin Musty joining the show. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. As we were talking about beforehand, I've been trying to book this for years. It's nice to actually have this happening. So I do want to ask where I always start. When did you realize hockey could be a thing for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I was a bit of a late bloomer. I wasn't, super, top of the rankings or anything until about 15, 16. I started to kind of realize that, maybe the possibility of getting drafted and, playing the NHL. So, yeah, kind of my first year in the OHL, obviously, I had the honor of going first overall there. That's kind of when I knew I could, take this a little further and hopefully be a professional.
Growing up, who was your favorite player?
Being from Buffalo, Patrick Kane was a big one for me, but I actually grew up a Red Wings fan, so Pavel Datsyuk was my favorite player growing up. So yeah, kind of the reason, a little bit of the reason I wear 13 as well. So yeah, just watching him and the things he did with the puck and his defensive game as well was, special to watch. So
that clip of him just taking Logan Couture's soul on Logan Couture's birthday, poor Couture, right?
yeah, a lot of fun. Staying up late with my dad watching those games and watching him play. It's good to see him play before he retired. So.
Who do you though try to model your game after? Maybe guys in the NHL now or guys who you grew up watching.
Yeah, I mean, just having a bigger frame, and I try to watch Nishushkin on Colorado, as well as Bushnevich on St. Louis. Just guys that they have both playmaking and scoring abilities, and they have the big frame and kind of play that power forward role with, the skill that they have, mixing that in as well. So just trying to watch guys like that, have the size, but, also have the playmaking ability and scoring ability and, seeing how they kind of use those things to their advantage at different times and, when to play as a power forward, when to, try and make a play. So just watching them and, trying to learn from them.
I've noticed, watching you, like I said, Barry in the O, where again compared to now, where it seems like you're spending much more time like in front of the crease and stuff. Is that from the coaching staff, or is that just kind of a style change, or compared to the OHL where you can kind of more space to be able to shoot? Is that just kind of how things are working here as a professional?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, big majority of the goals are scored from in front of the net, whether it's tips, rebounds, whatever. And yeah, I like scoring goals, so I'm going to go to those areas and try and get as many as I can from there. But yeah, when you have the opportunity to make a play and shoot from the outside or make a play from the outside, you can do that as well. But majority of the offense is going to come from kind of in that house area. So just trying to get there as often as I can.
So far on the ice, what has been your favorite moment?
Off the ice?
No, on the ice. Your
Oh,
favorite
on
on
the
the
ice?
ice, yep, moment.
I don't know. Probably just this last stretch we've had going. I like to win and hate losing. So just getting these points the last couple of games. It was a rough start for us at the beginning of the year, having still trying to find our chemistry a little bit too. But yeah, that start wasn't great. Like I said, I don't like losing, and it makes me upset. So just this last stretch and getting wins and on the road at home, it feels good, and just being with the guys, it's a better vibe when you're winning, and yeah, it's been great so far.
In 2020, you got kicked out of a Bantam game. This was said to me. Do you remember why you got kicked out of this game?
If it has anything to do with Billy, guessing it was one in Pittsburgh. I think
Yes.
I got bored and ended up getting in a fight or something. Got kicked out. So yeah, I think he was at that game and was recording it or something. And that's kind of when I met him. So
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of that game. You're like 6 inches taller than everybody else. And somebody said, sources will remain anonymous, but somebody said it's like if Nathan McKinnon could go play against Bantam players. That's what you looked like.
yeah, I was a bit of a early bloomer. I was pretty tall growing up, and yeah, I mean not the shortest guy now, but yeah, back then I was a little ahead of my time with that. So yeah.
All right. You got picked first overall, as you mentioned earlier, in the OHL draft. What did that mean to you and kind of your hockey career?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a huge honor, especially being American, to be able to be drafted in that league first overall. But yeah, it was a bit of a kind of last minute change, as an American player, especially during COVID and all that. You couldn't really visit anywhere or, go anywhere. But yeah, I was kind of my mind was kind of set on college my whole life going there, and then just the opportunity kind of arose to go play in the OHL. I didn't know much about it, but did some research and just wanted to kind of play against older guys, draft eligible guys. My first year, like I think Wyatt Johnson was still in the league, Will Cooley, McTavish, those guys. Just trying to play against those guys and you know learn from them, and playing against older players and more experienced players, and that high end talent. That kind of just appealed to me, and yeah, I thought it would get me ready for the draft. Is better than any other place I could have gone. So
You mentioned going to college. Was there places you were going to, or did you what was your college, I guess, recruitment looking like?
yeah, I mean, I was not visiting, but virtually, meeting with a lot of schools, and there's a lot of great ones that kind of caught my eye. But as soon as I found out I was going to the OHL, I didn't know about this rule change that was going to happen, so that kind of went out the window a bit, and didn't really speak to them much after that. So yeah, but yeah, the opportunity to go to college was definitely of interest, but kind of as soon as the OHL came, kind of went out the window.
I mean, speaking about the rule change, I mean, I was going to ask you about this later, but you kind of bring it up. The players going from the CHL to NCAA and NCAA to CHL. What do you make of this? It's like a wild west now with player movement and kind of what it means for players now.
Yeah, I think it's a great move. I think it's a fair move for everyone. I mean, it's not like when you go to the OHL, you're getting paid. You're really not getting paid too much. So it's kind of the same as any other junior league. So I think it's fair to, let those kids go to college. And yeah, it would have been a great opportunity or, for me to do if the rule changed a couple of years before. But yeah, I think it's a great move to, there's not much difference between that league, the USHL, the BCHL. There's not much difference. You're not getting, like I said, you're not getting paid or anything like that under the table, stuff like that. So I think it's fair to, let those kids, go to college and, still play in the OHL or CHL.
Of course, there's the rule that's supposed to be coming down with allowing 19-year-olds to start playing the AHL, and you would have been a perfect example of a kid who, if that rule had been in place, to go play potentially AHL games last year. What do you think about this potential rule here?
Yeah, I like that rule as well. I feel like all these rules are coming kind of a year too late for me, but yeah, I think that's a good rule as well. Some kids are ready for the next step, and I think can kind of put a dent in someone's development to go back to a league when they're ready for the next step. So yeah, I think these rules have been great, and I think they're going in the right direction with them.
All right, before we continue with Quentin, I do just need to take a quick break. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or just want to ride the hot hand, Steph Curry, I'm looking at you. FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving away $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins to new customers only. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right. Back to your actual draft. So you get drafted in the 2023 draft in Nashville. What was your experience like heading into it? I mean, Nashville's a pretty fun place to go. Like, what was your kind of weekend like?
Yeah, it was a great time. I think I have a lot of family. My mom has quite a few siblings, and my dad has three himself. So yeah, all my cousins and uncles, aunts, grandparents, all of them were there, and yeah, I think we went down about a week early, and we all kind of stayed in the same spot, and yeah, just had a good week with them. And then yeah, the draft happened, and I was super happy to be picked to San Jose in the first round as well. So yeah, it was a good feeling, and celebrate a little bit, but then you're right off to camp, development camp, and trying to put an impression on. So yeah, it was a quick couple weeks there between the combine and the draft and all that. It's kind of a fast turnaround. It goes by like that, but it was a lot of fun.
Way too many good places to eat in Nashville, right?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, yeah, I got a lot of good places to go down there, and yeah, it was good to share that time with my family and a couple of my friends as well. So yeah, it was nice.
I know going into the draft, you were a player that was, I don't know if you looked at the rankings beforehand or try to kind of keep things, keep your head into it. But like you were a player, a lot of people had like a potential, like early teens, potential, maybe you fall out of the first round, like all over the place. And the Sharks pick you at 26. Were you a little surprised with maybe where you ended up? And did you have a feeling about San Jose?
Yeah, I didn't have much of a feeling about San Jose at all. I think they were one of the teams I talked to the least, actually, I think. So, when they came on and announced my name, I was a bit surprised. But yeah, I think there's a lot of question marks on my game back then with, skating and stuff like that. So it was kind of just stuff I worked really hard on during the off seasons that I had before the draft year and that summer after the draft year as well. So just, yeah, I mean, the question marks were obviously warranted. And yeah, had no expectations going in. It's, honestly a dream to be drafted no matter where you get drafted. So, and quite frankly, the draft doesn't really matter at all. It's once you get picked, it's what you do after. So yeah, just getting picked, kind of just soaking that in and, just not taking it for granted. Didn't really care where I went. And yeah, I was happy to be drafted to San Jose. I wasn't really expecting it, like I said, but yeah, when they called my name, I was nothing but happy.
Of course, you mentioned what you do afterwards. 102 points in 53 games, almost 2 points a game in that year in Sudbury. How crazy was that year? And just like kind of that offensive production.
Yeah, I mean, I had the opportunity to play with a couple pretty talented players, with Dvorsky on St. Louis, and then Goyette. I think he's in Coachella now, and yeah, it was just when you have two players like that, it's kind of hard not to produce. And yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to play with them the whole year, and yeah, it was a good year for me and a good year for them as well. And we had a lot of fun. We were a good team, so yeah, it was exciting that year.
Of course, last year, I would say it didn't go as you planned, right? You had the trade request, then you break your hand. Sudbury gets knocked out in the first round. What was your biggest lesson from that year where, again, maybe not the year that you planned?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just don't take anything for granted. I mean, I sat the month out for requesting a trade and then come back, and I think it was 5 games later, break my hand. So yeah, just it sucks, when your whole life is doing something and you got to be out of it for for a bit of time like that, it sucks. But yeah, I think I had a good bounce back. The games I played, I was producing a lot and having fun with my teammates in my last year junior. So it wasn't all that waste of a year like a lot of people say it was. It was still junior hockey. It was still a lot of fun, and those are my friends and brothers that I kind of grew up with there. So it was fun to be able to play alongside them one more time. And yeah, now it's exciting to get this future started. So
Going back to your draft, you got drafted, or sorry, the following year after that 23-24 season. That year at development camp, right? It's you, there's Will Smith, there's Macklin Celebrini, Kasper Halttunen, kind of the big names of that. Being there kind of felt like a changing of the franchise with all this talent together. What does it feel like to be part of those guys, right? I mean, we've seen what Celebrini's done in the league so far. We've seen what Will Smith is doing as well. And, just to be part of what those guys are doing and amongst that group.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it feels good to see the way things are going around here. Obviously, they're getting some wins now, and then hopefully in the future, it's going to be a great team to watch and a great team to play for. Hopefully for me, I'm still waiting for my shot to play up there, but once I do, it's going to be pretty special, and I'm excited to hopefully be part of that group.
You showed a lot of chemistry with Will Smith. What is it with you two, like just automatically just having chemistry like that?
Yeah, I don't know. We played on a couple spring teams growing up, and yeah, I think it's hard not to have a chemistry with players like that. That think the game so well and have all the tools to make those plays. So yeah, it's hard. Like I said, hard not to have chemistry with a player like that. And yeah, I think the times we played together, we played well together. So it's always fun playing with players like that.
Speaking of another highly drafted player, the Sharks drafted Michael Misa, who was just like you were first overall pick in the OHL the year after. You've played against him a couple times. Like, what are the Sharks getting with him? I know he's injured right now. We haven't gotten the full Misa package, but he's a special player too, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like you said, I played against him the last 3 years. Obviously, with him getting exceptional status as well. So yeah, he's a great player, and him and Cherny last year were kind of unstoppable. Playing against them, it was a little tough, but yeah, he's a great player, and even more important, he's a great person as well. So the Sharks got a good pick with him at number 2, and yeah, it'll be exciting to follow him along.
I've heard you, like in an interview, you mentioned about the biggest difference between playing in the OHL and the AHL is kind of holding on / retrieving the puck. What do you mean by that? Like just, what you can get away with in the AHL versus what you get away with in the OHL?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, smart players in this league, and even smarter and, better players than NHL as well. So just, picking pucks off the wall, especially, and breaking out of your zone, sometimes a deal. They'll lunge down, but then back off. So you think you have no time, and you end up making a play right back to them when they back up. Just being aware of all the different things a defenseman can do, and as a winger, it's the most important thing is getting pucks out on the walls and just keeping your team on offense and not keeping them in the defensive zone. So it's probably the biggest thing for me is still learning, and I have some great games at it and some not so great games at it this year. So just still learning on that, just how to get pucks off the wall and make plays, because a lot of the game now is played on the walls, and the offense and breakouts and stuff come off of what you can do when you're pulling that puck off the wall. So just trying to get better at that has been kind of a main focus of mine this year, and continuing to try and get better at it.
After a little bit of a slow start, like you kind of mentioned earlier, the Cuda been playing much better. You guys been, as we're recording this, you guys are gotten some big wins as of late. What do you think is the biggest reason for it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, we have a younger team, and I think everyone's kind of finding their confidence right now. And, we've, had 15 games now, I think, and we're starting to, especially, my line, just getting chemistry. We've played together the last 8 or so, seven or 8 games. So finally starting to find that chemistry and, knowing what to expect of each other as well with the, the other 3 lines have been together, for the majority of those games as well. And I think every line kind of knows their job and knows where each other's going to be. And just the chemistry has been good for us.
You're coming off, again, as we record this, 2-goal game where you had the game winner in overtime. You feel like things are starting to click for you offensively now?
Yeah, I mean, it was always there. It's just, figuring out ways to, create it. And, I think if I get shots from in those areas, I'm going to put them in the net. But it was just kind of a matter of fact of trying to find different ways to create those chances, using, you got to skate a lot more, use speed, and take advantage of the opportunities that they give you. It's a pretty opportunistic league, and, you have to bury the chances that you get because, the teams and players in this league, they're pretty defensively sound. So just, trying to be opportunistic and, bury the chances when you get them. And, luckily they've been falling for me as of late. So.
Pechanga Arena, where San Diego, they have the LED boards. What are your thoughts on that? Is it a little weird at first, or how kind of cool, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a little confusing sometimes. They got the lights going, and some of them are, there's space in between some of them. It looks like a door's open sometimes, so it's a little scary that way. But you get used to it. My first game was obviously we lost in that rink, and it was a little weird playing in there. But I think as we play there more, I'll get used to it. So.
All right, before we finish up with Quentin Musty, we talked Josh Allen, among other things. Of course, get to know him on and off the ice a little bit. Just need to take a quick break. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being at the tank to go see your San Jose Sharks. But we know sometimes getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before the checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your favorite team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets, easy and stress-free. Their zone deals are a total game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can even find NHL tickets for under $25. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWNNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKDOWNNHL, LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. This group on this Barracuda, you mentioned such a young team, right? You have Chernyshov, you have Cam Lund, Halttunen, all you guys kind of playing through your first season as rookies here, but you're making an impact. Do you think that means for kind of this team and how they're going to continue to get better throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we got a lot of rookies on this team and, a lot of younger guys as well. But I think we have a good mix of, older guys who have been here, done that, like, Whitey and, Wallstrom, those guys, they've been through it all, and, they know how to lead and, know how to kind of direct us in the right way. So, yeah, it's been good, learning off them and, still, having your own game and focusing on your own game, the things you do well, but just taking little tips from each and every guy that you've been playing with. And, yeah, it's been good. We got a good mix of young guys with talent and, old guys with talent. And, it's been a good mix so far.
You and Chernyshov, like you've mentioned, right? You guys kind of building this chemistry. How easy is it to play with him? Because he looks like a guy who could just kind of do whatever you need him to do out there. And then also, how's his English coming along too?
Yeah, it's good. English is getting a lot better. He at least, he understands everything you're saying now. And, he's starting to make a couple jokes as well. So it's good to see him, kind of coming along, and his English is getting a lot better. And, his play on the ice is, he's a great player and super easy to play with. He's reliable defensively and, pretty dynamic offensively as well. So, yeah, it's a player that you love playing with. And, yeah, he's been making it easy on me so far. So.
I mean, that line between you, Beasted, and Chernyshov, that's a big boy line. Because Beasted's 6'2" or 6'3", and Chernyshov's 6'2" as well. Like that's a big boy line, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. You got the size, and I think all three of us have a good amount of skill, and we're we've been pretty good defensively the past couple of games. So yeah, it's fun. I feel like we've been playing well in all areas. So it's fun to play with those two, and they make it easy on me. So.
All right. You, of course, got some taste of professional hockey last year. What's the difference between kind of jumping into a team that is, pushing for the playoffs / in the playoffs compared to now where you're kind of, going through the beginning of a season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you jump into a team like that, especially that late in the season, you don't really know what your role is and how you want to play and what you need to do. Especially those being my first pro games, and yeah, I think this year it's been clear what's expected of me, and a little more motivation as well, trying to get called up. So just trying to do what they want me to do, and whatever it is they want me to do, and yeah, it's nice having that expectation and kind of knowing what you're there for and what they need you to do, opposed to last year just trying to get your toes wet a little bit. So yeah, it's a lot better this year and feeling a lot more comfortable out there.
That's fair. We'll jump to some dumb off the ice questions. Of course, you're from Buffalo, big Bills fan. How important is Josh Allen to the city of Buffalo?
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of changed the culture. I mean, the Sabres have been doing well for some time, and yeah, the Bills weren't very good growing up for me at least. And yeah, since he's come, it's kind of revived the city a little bit, and everyone loves going to Bills games now. And yeah, it's a lot of fun having a good sports team there. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to be watching them tonight actually. So.
Yes, I'm trying to wrap this up here. So I know the Bills game starts here in like half an hour, but as a Dolphins fan, it's great because I go from 20 years of Tom Brady, and then now I have Josh Allen ruining my life. So it's
you got Drake May coming too now.
And Drake May, so it's a great time in my life as a sports fan. So your sister is a goalie and looks to be a pretty solid goalie. Did she become a goalie by default because you needed someone to practice with, or how did she become a goalie?
Yeah, I was a little upset when she did. I think being younger, I think every kid kind of begs their parents to be a goalie at one point, and I was begging for a while, I guess, and my dad said no way, and then as soon as the girl comes around, the daughter comes around, he
whatever she wants.
So yeah, she put on the pads, and yeah, you could kind of tell right away she had a love for it, and she's pretty good at it. So she kept growing, and obviously me shooting on her and stuff. It was a lot of fun having her being out there. Whether we always had an outdoor rink in our yard, and she'd always be willing to dress up and take some shots. So it was cool having that kind of connection with her through hockey, growing up, and her being my youngest sister. It was a cool connection to have. So
you could score on her though, like shoot out 100%. You could score on her, really?
Yeah, I think so. I could get her. You give me one shootout, I think it's going in. So
sounds good. What does your game day prep look like? Are you a superstitious guy, a little stitious guy, or you kind of let it flow guy?
Yeah, I'm kind of a let it flow guy. I think, I mean, a lot of guys have their routines. I live with London and Halttunen, so we have our own pregame. We kind of eat the same thing every time. Halttunen and I kind of make it. Lund kind of sits there and watches. So, but yeah, we make it. We have our own little routine here. But other than that, a lot of guys nap and stuff. I nap if I'm tired. So if I'm not tired, I'm staying awake, and at the rink, kind of do the same thing. It's kind of important to have a routine there, just so you're ready, but nothing crazy. Just take my stick, stretch, roll out, and play a little sewer, and that's about it. Get ready for the game. So
you're not like I have to put like my right sock on first and then my left sock, or like some people do like they have to do like the right side first or something.
I think I do that, but I think it's just
subconscious. You don't even realize it.
I don't even realize it. If I did something the other way, I wouldn't recognize it. It wouldn't mess me up at all. So
yeah, I know Halttunen. I've talked to him before. I think he's is he a sneaky good cook? Because I feel like he is.
He is a good cook. I think his mom sent him a recipe book as well, and they've all been pretty solid so far. So yeah, it's always a good thing when he offers to cook. It's gonna be good, but I think Lund's the one you got to worry about it. He doesn't. The other day he couldn't even make a smoothie in here, so it was tough to watch. But he's coming along. So
there you go. Are you a big coffee guy for game day or no?
Yeah, I think I have average about 2 coffees a day, but especially on game day, I think I'm 3 or 4, or a couple at the rink as well. So yeah, it's important for me to have coffee in my system if I'm going to play a good game or have a good practice day. So yeah, it's a big part of our routine here. We have a lot of coffee in the fridge and coffee machines. You know, every day we got a lot of coffee going on, a lot of coffee runs. So yeah, it's important.
I'm worried about when you have kids and then that coffee just goes like exponentially the amount that you have to take in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
The IV. All right, let me get a couple more. Get you out of here. Socks and skates. Are you a monster who does not wear socks with your skates?
No, that's insane. I don't know how anyone does that. I think one game actually, I think I was at the Holinka Gretzky Cup, and I think I forgot my socks
Ugh.
and like couldn't find any. They didn't have any extra, so and it was the worst thing ever. So I don't understand how people do that. And yeah, no, I'm not a guy that does that. So
All right. When you're not training and it's off season, what's your favorite thing to do?
probably golf. It's a pretty cliche answer, but yeah, I love golf and I'm pretty decent at it. So it's fun even now in the season, especially being in San Jose. It's nice. It's new to me to be able to golf year round, kind of. So
Yeah.
we went the other day and it was like back home. I think it's a couple feet of snow right now. So yeah, it's nice to have that luxury to be able to do that. It's one of I think every hockey player's favorite things to do off the ice. So it's nice to be able to do it here.
Is Cardwell the best player on the team? Because I know he's an extremely good golfer.
Yeah, he's probably the best. I think I've only golfed with him one time, but from what I've heard, he's pretty good. So
I think his dad was like a professional golfer or something like that, if I recall. And like, basically, if he wasn't playing hockey, he would be like a professional golfer. Like he's extremely good at it. So
yeah, I think he's a plus. So it's kind of hard to beat that when someone's shooting under par every round. So
yeah.
yeah, he's good from what I've heard.
All right. Quentin, I've taken up way too much of your time. I know you've got a Bills game you're getting ready for here. So thank you so much. Best of luck. I can't wait to see you up in the NHL here, hopefully sooner rather than later, buddy. So
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
appreciate it. All right. I do want to, of course, thank Quentin Musty for taking some time out to chat with me. Also, thanks to Nick Nollenberger and the San Jose Barracuda for, of course, making this happen. To be honest, I've been looking forward to talking with Musty for a while, but trying to get him on the podcast just never really worked out. But you see the impact that these young players are having, right, with Musty and Chernyshov and Lund and Halttunen and all these guys, just as this Barracuda team has been red hot as of late. And it's a lot to do with how these young players are going. And feels like it's just a matter of time until these guys are going to be starting to make an impact in the NHL. So great conversation with Musty. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow as we'll probably kind of look at, I think we'll probably kind of do a nice stock up, stock down as we're, now almost 2 months into the season here, kind of see where players are at. We'll be kind of doing that. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until tomorrow. Bye, friends.